I think for female basketball, someone like Caitlin Clark, it's not just she's white. It's white. She's playing for Iowa. I don't think it would be it would still be a big deal, but not as big of a deal if she was playing for Alabama or Connecticut or not Alabama, I would say Connecticut, Tennessee, even South Carolina, one of these, Baylor, one of these now that have been these powerhouse programs lately. It's just Iowa was cool. They were Big Ten, but nobody's really paying attention to Iowa till Caitlin Clark got there. And it's not the fact that she's just a white girl averaging 30-some points a game. It's how she's doing it. She's doing these bounce passes that has just got the defenses looking stupid. She's bringing the ball off the court. She's hitting threes like 4 feet behind the three-point line. It's ridiculous. She's must-see TV. And just her being white adds on to it. But that's not the only reason, because if you look at it like that, these other white players that are on these other teams, the white girl in Connecticut, the Van Lith girl on LSU, the big girl on Stanford, and I'm not saying their names because I don't know them, because they're not getting pressed like that. I know Connecticut's got a badass white girl that's balling right now. I know the LSU white girl, Van Lith. I know she came from Louisville. She was balling. But they weren't getting pressed because they weren't doing what Caitlin Clark does. And you could say the second most popular girl is Angel Reese. And depending on what region you're in, who's going to be more popular. So I don't think that's the only reason. Obviously, that has something to do with it. But to say people are wrong, I'm like, all right, I think she was I just say I think Jamel was reaching on that article. But that goes with her brand right now. She really makes a lot of things about race. I don't think she's a racist. I just think it's almost like she's looking for reasons for people or the media to be against black people or not promoting black athletes as much as they should. And like I said, anytime there's an anomaly, because you got right now, like Christian McCaffrey is arguably the best running back in the NFL. White dude. That's not normal. They got the DB out of Iowa. Hold on, let me look his name up. He's going to be the first cornerback. Iowa cornerback. Look, if I put Iowa cornerback, white guy, watch him pop up. Cooper, look, first thing out the box, his name pops up. Cooper DeJean. He's going to be a first-round pick, most likely. He's a white dude from Iowa. What's going on with Iowa? Listen, I'll just say, if you was going to name a state where you think a white running back, a white cornerback, a white girl that would be the number one pick in the WNBA that isn't like a monster, like super tall, not like a Brittany Griner or something, you would say Iowa. That would probably be the first state you say. Iowa, Montana, a state like that. Like I would say Iowa's got, pound for pound, probably the best white athletes that play traditionally black-dominated positions come out of Iowa. Remember Tim Dwight, the kickoff and punt returner from Iowa that played for the Atlanta Falcons? I mean, that guy was a track star. So, yeah, I just think that's obviously that has something to do with it, but it's no different than Tommy Morrison. He got a lot of press because he was a white guy that was a heavyweight boxer that was American too, in that type of sport. I'm trying to think. Got Tiger Woods. I think Serena and Venus. They got a lot of press, and they wouldn't have got the press they got if they weren't black in a white-dominated sport. A lot of their what do you call it? Heat, and people were curious is because they never seen black girls play. Now there's 4 or 5 black girls on the tennis circuit that are crushing it. So I think when you're the first for something like this, I think this is the first time since the WNBA's come around that we've seen a white female basketball player dominate in the fashion she's dominating, and she's not a big. She's a guard. Like, she's bringing the ball up. She's like almost being a walking. She could be a walking triple-double if she wanted to. So I think that's what I think Jamil was reaching on that. I just think when you're the first, like this guy, watch how much heat we hear about Cooper DeJean this draft. If he's going to be the first white cornerback in like 30 years. It's just not a position white guys play. We get moved to safety or other positions. People forget Brian Urlacher was a safety when he went to college. They didn't move him to cornerback. They moved him to linebacker. They bulked him up, but not this guy. And I think on the other side of things, Angel Reese, after they lost, she really went on she was crying at the post-game press conference and saying you don't know what she's been through and stuff. And I think Angel Reese, a lot of the backlash she got all came from this. When she did this in front of Caitlin Clark last year at the NCAA final game. And to me, I'm like, you're just talking shit, but she went out of her way to go towards Angel, where most of the teams and people, when they're talking shit, they're not going directly at the star player on the team. They're going at somebody else. So a lot of the backlash that comes to LSU is because how cocky they are when they win. And listen, I ain't mad at them. You know who they remind me of? They remind me of the Fab Five at Michigan when that happened. Again, Fab Five, first ones to wear black socks. 5 black guys starting, freshmen out of left field. And they talk smack, and they backed it up. And here's the thing about the Fab Five. Back then, as a white guy in high school and stuff when all that happened, you know, me new to the hip-hop world, like I was just starting to listen to hip hop back then and stuff. I was intrigued by the Fab Five, but the media painted them out to be, I wouldn't say thugs, but you know, talking smack, very much like the media makes Angel Reese and the LSU team out. And look at the Fab Five now. All 5 of those guys end up being super successful in life. Take out basketball and life, and you know, probably one of the most successful people on that Michigan title run of 92 and 93 is Rob Pelinka, who ended up being the white guy, first white guy off the bench, and he ended up being Kobe's agent, and now he's in the front office with the Lakers. So people forget he was on that Fab Five Michigan team. That's what's crazy. And I remember I went on Jalen Rose talk show on ESPN a couple years ago when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, and I got to tell him, I go, dude, I just wanted to say, I said, you guys, all 5 of you guys on the Fab Five end up killing it in life as adults. Take away the basketball. Take away all that stuff. Just in life. So you got to ask yourself, would you rather have, you hear all these horror stories, 30 for 30 going broke, would you rather have a national title ring, but your life turned out to be shit? Or would you rather be part of the Fab Five, where they came up short in the national title game, but all 5 end up doing really well in life? And I don't think that's talked about enough with the Fab Five. So I just think with Angel, a lot of this backlash you brought on yourself, and it's okay. You've always stated this is just me being in between the lines, and you have to zone the negative stuff out and focus on the positive. And that's human nature, and that'll come with age as she gets older. But I think when you're young, and now we're in a social media age, she's taking all this stuff personally, but a lot of people aren't against you or coming at you. It's so easy to focus on the negative when they do come at you. And it's human nature. I do the same thing. I get on social media and I'll have 1,000 great comments, but that one negative is the one I want to respond to. I don't know why we're like that. I don't know why humans are like that. And then if you look at the people that make the negative comments, they're just negative people in general. So if I had any advice to Angel, I'd be like, just focus on the good comments and the people that are rooting for you, and screw the people that aren't. But at the same time, you got to be like, why are they doing this? It's because you talk smack, and you're allowed to. I'm cool with talking smack about basketball. You're not. You've never made it personal. It's always been just about ball. Is when you talk smack, and it worked. It worked. These NIL deals you got. You're popular. You're making more money you probably ever thought you would as a little girl playing basketball. A lot of it is because you did that. So the good comes with the bad. So man, the female NCAA tournament, who would have thought that would have taken over the whole deal? I mean, the male, it's crazy that NC State has a man and female team in the Final Four. Nobody's really talking about it at all. Connecticut, same way. Connecticut's got men and women. Dang, I just realized Connecticut and NC State. And the Connecticut men, there hasn't been a more dominant run than I can remember since like UNLV back in the day. Can you imagine if UNLV had NIL back then with Larry Johnson, Anderson Hunt? Oh my gosh, it would have been stupid. They'd have their own wing at the MGM basically.